temper it for me for Dallas, because it's a whole lot different probably.
Well, I mean, we were in the highs in the 60s yesterday, and I think the same. I think we'll be 61 today,
Oh, yeah.
lows in just the 50s. So that's temperate in my assessment.
Yeah, well, we're going to be at 44 today, so we're doing our best. We're doing our best.
But the question is, how much snow have you gotten?
Not a lot. I think I read the other day we've gotten like 5 or 6 inches this winter so far. It's been very mild. We're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. All right. We haven't gotten any. Are you surprised?
No. Although I remember some football games watching, and there have been snow. There has been snow.
Oh,
the Leon Lett
sure.
game. The Leon Lett game was one of the most memorable ones of those.
Yeah. Well, Super Bowl 2011, where you got sheets of ice sliding off the dome. We've definitely had our share, but minor in the scope of, Pennsylvania standards.
Hey, we got to get down to business here.
All right. Yes.
Here we go. Our visit this morning presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. Elizabeth, I'm reading this, and I guess it's not as hard to believe as maybe it would have been if you had asked me this a year or so or two. 88% of our younger workers in the workforce are using AI to do their jobs for them. Sign of the times, isn't it?
It's definitely, I think, a growing trend for sure.
Wow. You're a workplace expert and the author of the international best-selling book, Pick Your Path. Artificial intelligence, we're still trying to get a handle on it. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it somewhere in between? Is it how you use it? I guess in this case, it's how do you overuse it? Because if we're letting AI do our jobs for us, we're not really contributing, and we're not really learning to do our jobs, are we?
Well, that's an excellent way of stating it. And I actually liked the way that you led in with that. With are we overusing it? Because there's definitely a positive place for it, but if we are overusing it, then how is it stunting the growth of an individual in their job place, or the task that they've been given, or the role that they were hired to fill? I think those are all excellent questions, and why it is important that we are not overusing it, or we're using it in very strategic ways.
Yeah, the proper use of it is what it really comes down to, and therefore your value to your company if it's just somebody else's AI doing the job.
Well, exactly, and that we don't. People. I know one of the big fears, depending on with whom you speak, is that AI is going to replace everyone's job, and that's why it's important that we recognize that we still need human intellect, the ability to think through problems, to have that level of conversation or creativity as another avenue there. That's still really important, and that we want to be cultivating that within the current workforce, that we're continuing to show the importance of developing the individual and not just relying on AI for, I'm going to say for everything, but for some people, I think they see a world where we're relying on AI for everything.
Well, were we not 15, 20 years ago just getting used to the term creative thinking and critical thinking skills? So those were things that we were talking about, and how we were losing those because of the way that society was evolving. Well, this is another step in that evolution, is it not?
Yeah. Well, it is, and because my background and area of expertise is in brain development, that the more that an individual relies, for example, on AI to do what they believe to be the critical thinking, the less they're leveraging their own brain to think critically or creatively. And then as a result, we in effect are changing the way the brain is wired, which means we're less likely to be able to do that deeper critical thinking or problem solving that's needed in our current workplace.
Boy, there are all kinds of questions that pop into my mind here. One of those is, does this not open up, at least for some, maybe a very small slice of our population, the opportunity to really shine where others are taking a step back and allowing AI to do the work for them? Here, somebody else comes along and they say, you know what, this is what I can bring that AI really can't, and the other employees can't.
Well, it's certainly I think a viable space, and I would add that those taking an opportunity or having the opportunity to shine when they can effectively show how there is a space or a way to use AI well, and also shine from the standpoint of their own critical thinking, problem solving, stepping outside of the box, as we have learned to embrace in our workplace culture. Those are the ones that I believe. In other words, they're not saying I'll never use AI. They're the ones finding a way to use AI in a productive way, not in a replacement way.
Elizabeth Mahusay is our guest this morning. Elizabeth, I sort of get the idea as we think about this, that with those opportunities come not only the ability to shine, but also to make a bit of a stand for your generation, if you will. There's a danger in painting everybody with a brush that says lazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can't do that, can we?
No, I believe that we have to be very cautious in that, because with some of the companies with whom I work, they're investing millions of dollars to get on the front side of AI so that they can use it appropriately and effectively within the context of their workplace. Because our newer workers, our younger workers coming into the workplace, they're accustomed to a high level of technology usage. So they're going to be looking for companies that, are providing cutting edge opportunities to leverage it. So I do think we want to be careful not to just say, well, because someone uses ChatGPT, they're now lazy, or it's doing everything for them, because there are just very helpful uses of it in the workplace, and it doesn't mean that you're lazy because you've leveraged it.
Could be saying as well that the shortcuts are great, but taking the long way is going to be more beneficial in the long run.
Well, it's true, and I mean there's a lot of learning that can happen when someone needs to take or has to take or is forced to take the long way. And that's the part that I am hopeful that we can continue to message around AI, that just because AI can help us to do something faster doesn't always mean it is the best for our learning or for our development. Sometimes it taking longer for someone is exactly what they need to become the person that will allow them to be successful in the future that awaits them. So that's the part for me. It's just helping people to see that just because AI can help us be more efficient or do everything faster, it doesn't always translate into it's what's best for the individual's development.
It sounds like that's a perfect entree to talk about Pick Your Path, which is the book you wrote.
Yes. Pick Your Path is based around my passion for how a person thinks. So imagine it's 21 individual lessons. They're meant to be done one a day, where it allows someone to pick a better path of thinking. So, simply put, do you pick a path of positive thinking or a path of negative thinking? Do you see that as rejection, or do you see that as redirection? Do I see that as I'm a failure, or do I pick a path of thinking that says I fail forward? And so that's the idea behind it, with my passion of the need to cultivate thinking that matters. So I'm super passionate about how one processes and thinks, because I know it's part of the development of the individual.
Yeah, and that perspective will really help you to find your way forward.
Absolutely. And that I love your use of the word perspective, because oftentimes I believe that we that we need expanded perspective. And that's one of the spaces where we have to be careful with AI when people are gaining, quote unquote, gaining what they believe to be perspective from artificial intelligence versus we're living real life out here. And really making sure that we're not so reliant on that, and recognizing that we still need to be engaging our world and the people in it, because that's where we're going to gain that valuable perspective that helps us to grow emotionally intelligent, and that's has been proven to be such a difference maker in a person's success, especially in leadership roles.
She is Elizabeth Mahusay. Where are we going to learn more about you and about your book?
Awesome. Pick Your Path is available on Amazon, and they can also visit my website, elizabethmahusay.com.
Wonderful. Hey, have a wonderful day today.
Thank you. You have a super day, too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Elizabeth Mahusay. Now, if you're looking it up, her last name is spelled Mahusay, and it's pronounced Mahusay, okay? All righty, it's Indiana in the Morning. It's the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.